everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jamie Lee, and I'm joined by my husband, Mr. Jared Lee. Hello, Jared.
Hello.
Well, I have a question for you, as always.
All right.
So, when you were at Universal Studios Park, let's say you're in Beverly Hills, and you want to go to Sue's Landing. Let's say that you're going to go from there to Sue's Landing. Do you walk to Diagon Alley and take Hogwarts Express, or do you just walk out the front of the park and then go through the front of Islands of Adventure? Which would you do?
It would depend on a couple of variables, I would say. If it's like how long of a wait is Hogwarts Express versus, because if you're in Beverly Hills, you're not that far from the entrance.
Okay, let's say you're in Simpsons Land.
Okay. I mean, if you're back there, again, I think it would still depend. If it was, a 20-minute wait for Hogwarts Express, I would take that. I mean, Hogwarts Express is cool. Now, this depends on if you've never done it before or not, too. If you've done it before and you don't really...
Well, this is you.
Right. If it's me, it's just going to depend on how long that is, probably. Okay. So if it's like an hour-long wait, I'll just walk out of the park and walk over, probably.
Okay.
But if it's like 20 minutes, I would do that.
I think we've done the walk from Universal Studios Park to Islands, like from the entrance to entrance. And depending on where you go, I mean, it takes like, I don't know, somewhere around 20 minutes-ish to walk it. So if you're willing to walk it, if you haven't walked too much that day.
You mean from the time you exit the park till you get over there?
No, like from where you are in the park.
Oh, yeah. You
know, like, again, like Universal Studios Park isn't that big. I would say from like end to end, it's a 15-minute walk.
It's not bad. I mean, it's definitely, if you're way back there, it's, you're like, okay, let's go do this sort of thing. But
yeah,
I mean, that's one of the advantages that Universal has is that everything's really close. So you're not too far away.
But if I was in like Men in Black, if I was over there, I would probably take Hogwarts Express. Because the walk would be longer. Like, that's just me though.
Yeah. Again, it just depends on how long that wait is for Hogwarts Express. If it's a super busy day, and let's say you don't have Express Pass, and it's like an hour plus wait.
But what if it's really hot?
Well, okay. If you're talking about me, I don't know. The heat doesn't bother me as much, so I would just be fine with it. Okay. I suppose. But again, I mean, I'm assuming you would probably take Hogwarts Express most of the time.
If it's hot and the wait's not too bad on King's Cross, I would probably just take the train over.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, it's just going to depend on how long that wait is. But I mean, I would prefer to take Hogwarts Express. I mean, it's a cool thing. It is another attraction in a way that also just gets you to another place you want to go, and it does save you a potentially 15 to 20 minute walk.
It's true. So that's why I was curious. Okay,
there you go.
Well, today we have a little bit of news, not much to talk about there, but we are going to bring back our 101 series where we've done Hogsmeade and we've also done Diagon Alley 101, where we just kind of did a deep dive into those lands. We're doing that again today with Marvel Superhero Island. So I'm really excited to get this started. But first, we want to mention that if you're looking for more content, more live streams, discounts on merchandise, and a lot more, you should look into our private podcast group, Club 32.
Yes. So like Jamie said, if you want even more content, we have live streams. We have shows that are, only you can find in there. We just restarted our CTM at the Movies series, and last week we did a watch party of all the 90s, not all of them, but the two Full House 90s sitcoms where they went to Disney World. So we're going to start a series on that. We're going to do some watch parties. So that's always a lot of fun. We have the Club 32 show we do every week. We have Cool Kids Kitchen. We have Club 32 Speakeasy. There's a private podcast feed, private Facebook group, and Discord. Plus, you get 20% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products. So again, if you want to join there and help support the show, you go to ctmvip.com. You can do monthly or yearly options, and you can even do a free trial if you want to see it's for you. And go check it out. So again, it's ctmvip.com. If you have any questions, you can always message us on social media, or you can always email us at hello@ctm.show as well.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's start with some news today. So, Jared, why don't you start us off? What do we got?
Well, we talked about at least last week or last episode about how Minions Land is on the horizon. We don't know when it's opening, but we are starting to get an idea that it seems to be opening in sections as we had the sign was unveiled. Well, I would say maybe given the sign was unveiled that shows Minions Land, and then now Evil Stuff gift shop is now open. So this is the gift shop that is going to be the exit of the Minion. Is it Minion Blast?
Villains? Is it Villains Con or Villain Con?
Villain Con.
Villain Con Minion Blast.
Yeah.
So that's the gift shop.
So the gift shop is now open.
And they did not announce this. They just did it. Everyone's like, oh, let's just go in and take a look.
Yeah, we were talking about this. They also took down some of the construction walls around the ride so you can get a little closer. I think to check out some of the posters you can see there as well. So, we've had the discussion on how, how's this going to go? And I almost think it's just going to maybe open in sections as things get done. And then they'll have one big, either opening date or something like that. Because they kind of did this with Velocicoaster. It was in soft opening for a bit before it, quote unquote, officially opened. I'm
wondering, do you think they'll do annual pass holder previews?
I think so. I mean, we were looking through it. They did for Hagrid's and they did for Velocicoaster. So, I mean, looking historically, I would assume they would. But again, they could. The ride, I would assume, if they're going to open this in sections, maybe the last thing that opens. So they may open up. I mean, it makes sense. They open up a gift shop. They want to sell stuff. So, that's
right.
There's the food options as well. So those could open. And then once the ride opens, that's official launch. But I don't know. This is a little bit new, I think, for doing it this way.
I don't know. So I was looking back at, I didn't look at Hagrid's because we didn't live in Florida at the time when it opened, because it opened in 2019. But Velocicoaster, we were here, but we were actually visiting Missouri when it was like May 2nd to 5th, I think, is when they ran those AP previews.
It wasn't very long, yeah.
No, it was just a couple of days, but it was over a month before it officially opened.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, will they do the same thing with Minion Blast? I mean, it's a little bit different because it's not a roller coaster. So I don't think as much testing needs to happen with this kind of ride. But they are testing it currently. Yeah. I know that for sure.
And I don't know the last time, I'm trying to think. This is also not just one ride, but an entire sort of land that's opening. So you have all these different parts of it. So
will they do it together or separate?
Right. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of the last land that would open like this. It's I don't know. This is the first time it's happened in quite a while where they've done.
Gosh, yeah.
So I don't really know.
Diagon Alley, 2014. But
that would have all opened at once.
Right.
They didn't have that open in sections, but also you couldn't get to it. So this is obviously an area of the park where, it's right when you walk in the park. So it's the first thing you see. So they may also just want things open so that when people come into the park, they can see things there instead of just construction walls. So it could be some of that. My guess is they do have AP previews, even if it's just for a few days.
Yeah.
I could see it being for
a few weeks before or something.
A Monday through Friday, and or a Monday through Thursday, and it opens up on a Friday or something like that. So I would assume they will, but the other sections of it, say like obviously the gift shop, I don't know the status of the food, the Minion Cafe, or the.
Well, we can't see any of that.
Right. So those, I could see those opening.
Well, construction walls are still around it. So we can't even see like where you would actually walk in.
Right.
We can only see them painting and like adding things to the buildings. So we have signs. We have signage up. We know there's the Minions Cafe. We know there's a bank. There's a bank right there.
Yeah.
We see Bake My Day. That's that sweet shop. We see Illumination Theater. The sign is up there. So it seems to be like the exterior is close.
Yeah, at this point, I would say that's just final touches, and then what
is the inside done?
Right, the thing. Who knows where that's at? But if I were to guess as to when this maybe opens, because again, they haven't said officially when it opens; they just said summer. I think probably, given we're seeing maybe across Disney and Universal, tourism in the area is down a little bit. I think Universal probably wants to get this thing open because hopefully they could see some people coming in. Mm-hmm. And really, from a competitive standpoint, I'm sure they would love to see them get a little bit of a bump and, their competitor maybe not.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a lot of motivation to try and get this open, I don't know if June's even possible, but in July. I mean, we've heard August. So I think the possibility would be at this point, late June. or July as
I
like
don't.
the
I
quickest.
don't see June.
I don't either, but Universal also, apparently from this, they just one day may just say, hey, this is open sort of thing. I don't think they will with the ride, but I think they could with the other things in there. But yeah, no, if I had to guess, I think July is a pretty a good guess. I think they would love to have that thing open by July.
I keep hearing like August. I keep hearing early August. Nobody really knows, but
Right.
that's just kind of the rumors is August.
Well, and I think too, if you think about opening it up in sections like this, it's when people first walk in. There's obviously something new people can check out, but at the same time, they're probably looking at if they can get parts of it open at the very least in the summer, they can get the local crowds to come in and check it out as well. And I'm sure, I don't know how many people are going to travel from other states just to go check out a gift shop. I don't know. I don't know how many people will come check out just for Minion Land, but I'm sure they probably at least thinking, okay, let's get part of this open and get that local traffic in here, try and get that word out. So.
Yep.
If I were to see, the thing is, if I were to bet, I'd say August, but I think they probably would love to see July.
We will see. Moving on to the next story real quick, is about Fast 10.
Family. It's about family. The Family has made $650 million at the box office, and $514 million of that is from overseas, which is pretty typical of a Fast and Furious movie. You were asking me about this, and I was like,
yeah.
It typically makes all its money overseas. It's never been a huge moneymaker in the U.S. And it's also already on digital.
Yeah,
which is interesting because that thing just opened like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks now.
I mean, I guess is it available digitally worldwide or just in the U.S.?
I'm not sure if it's worldwide.
I would assume it's just the U.S. because I don't think they really make these movies for the U.S.
Maybe based on the box office. You're probably right.
Domestically, they may just say, "Hey, here's our 2 to 3 week run, whatever it is," and then put it on digital, and then make some, money on the video or the video on demand type stuff.
Yeah, but also we wanted to mention Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, it has grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide, so it broke over that 1.2, which I think that means did it beat Frozen 2?
I'm not sure about that. It is the number one movie of 2023.
Yeah,
so.
I know it had Frozen 2, and I think technically they classify Lion King, the remake one, as an animated movie because it technically is an animated movie, even though it's live action supposedly. But depends on how you look at it. So yeah, they classify the Lion King movie as animated because it has so much CGI. Because you're getting like animals to talk, and that's the whole movie.
That's interesting because there's so much CGI in like superhero movies,
right?
So
well,
what's the
but
argument
if you think
there?
about Lion King, every single scene would be CGI because the entire movie is the animals talking.
I guess.
But yeah, that's which I don't really I don't think that's an animated movie actually, but I know it was like coming up against Frozen 2 because I think it.
No, so it's the number 18 highest grossing movie so far. Frozen 2 is number 13.
What was Frozen 2's number?
Frozen 2 is 1.45.
Okay, 1.4. I couldn't remember what Frozen 2 had. So I know an animated movie wise in that category is what I was talking about. So I think Frozen 2 is the biggest animated movie if you're not counting Lion King.
Lion King, the first Lion. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. 2019's Lion King is 1.6.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting to know. Okay, well, that's all the regular news today. Jared has a rumor he wants to talk about. So what is the rumor?
Well, a couple of places have cited, and it is technically a rumor category, but the rumor is that Nintendo is in final negotiations with Illumination, who made Super Mario Brothers, who produced Minions, all that stuff, to produce and make a Zelda movie. Okay. So that would be coming off the heels of Mario Brothers. And Zelda obviously just had a new game come out, which is I think it may have been the biggest game launch. I know with the Switch it was. So
dang,
that's a big deal if they do that, which would catapult off of Mario Brothers.
I'm not familiar with Zelda. I know what it is, but I have no idea what the game is. So
I don't know a lot about new Zelda. I definitely need to play it. They just had, like I said, the new game come out. I know that much. And then, but yeah, it does give some credence. What we talked about a few weeks ago of the rumor also was over there in Poseidon's Fury that a Zelda land or ride may go in that area. So if you're seeing a Zelda movie, perhaps that would make a lot of sense that you'd also see a Zelda land.
I mean, personally, I don't think it's a big deal just because I'm not really interested in Zelda. Like I said, I don't even know really what it is. I've heard of it, but so this isn't really my thing. So
Yeah, I mean, Zelda's, I don't know a ton. I played the old Zelda games when I was a kid, but it is a very big franchise, and this would be, I think a Zelda movie would do great. It's got a huge, group of people that love it. Plus, it would fit in with, people talk about, aren't they building a Super Nintendo world in Epic Universe? But they also do this where you've got Harry Potter in both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. So they've kind of shown the precedent to put properties not just concentrated in one park as well. So
okay.
I don't know. And also, too, Poseidon's Fury area, they do need to, I mean, that whole area is just kind of a walkthrough area.
It really is. I mean, they have like the Mythos restaurant. They've got a couple of walk-up places to eat, shopping.
In that area,
but
too.
Sinbad's closed. The show isn't.
And you could pretty easily kind of make that area into like a Zelda-like area. So it's not, the motif is not a ton different. Zelda's kind of like an ancient timeline type thing. And I don't know a ton about it, but I think it is a thing that could work in there. So I kind of lean toward with this news of Zelda that that's definitely a possibility for Universal to do that. And again, it would fit in with wanting people to do more things outside of just go to Epic Universe when it opens.
That's a good point. Maybe.
Because that's the thing they're going to run into is when that does open, they want people not just in that park, they want them all over the place. So
I don't think they'll have a problem with that, but you never know. Okay, well, that is all for the news today. We're going to move on to our topic, which, as I said before in the intro, Marvel Superhero Island 101. So, like I said, we've done Hogsmeade, we've done Diagon Alley. We just kind of break down what's all in the land. We'll give you some fun facts. We'll give you some Easter eggs. We'll talk about our experiences and going to the land and what we love and everything. So I guess we should start with, where is Superhero Island, Jared?
it is in the Islands of Adventure side of things. So when you walk into Islands of Adventure, you kind of, once you go through the the main walkway,
that would be port of entry.
Port of entry.
Yes.
You can either go right or you can go left. If you go right, you go into Seuss Landing and all that. If you go left, you go right into Superhero Island.
Okay.
Basically. And some of you may be thinking, well, wait a minute. Marvel is owned by Disney. Why is it over here? And that's a very long conversation, other than
I can't even.
In the 90s, Marvel wasn't doing so hot, and they sold off the theme park rights, which Universal has. So essentially, once Disney...
East of the Mississippi.
Right. So once Disney bought Marvel, everything west of the Mississippi, obviously there's Disneyland has Marvel stuff. Everything east is what Universal controls. This is why Universal has it. And if Disney wanted it, they would have to get the rights from Universal to do that. They don't have the theme park rights for anything of like the MCU. Of the cinematic side, they don't. It's basically all based off of the 90s cartoons and comic books, essentially. So you're not...
Does that include the current comics too?
Don't
I think it does.
It could, I suppose, but it as it is now, it does not. So it's both. If you watch the cartoons in the 90s, it'll all look really familiar to you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to go into that too much today. We're just going to focus on what is there. So after you go through Port of Entry, you turn, you go to Marvel Superhero Island. What is the first thing you see that is the attraction to your, well, it's up and to your left.
So you kind of walk through it, which is the Incredible Hulk roller coaster.
Yeah.
So this opened May 28th of 1999.
Which is opening day.
Yes. And that they redid it a few years ago. They completely redid the whole track, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago?
Oh, not that long ago.
Okay.
Like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It was down for like a year.
Yeah. So they've redone it since then, but it did open May 28th, 1999. The ride lasts 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and it is a big roller coaster. There are 7 inversions and 2 subterranean trenches, and the first launch when you come out of it is 150 feet.
And this is straight from Universal. It says, unleash your inner Hulk. You're volunteered to take part in a science experiment based on Dr. Bruce Banner's research, but a blast of gamma radiation changes everything. You launch up to 67 miles per hour as Hulk-like power propels you upside down into a zero-gravity roll, racing faster and faster. Hang on as this high-speed red line rampage smashes its way through the sky. And it was by what was it, General Ross? He was the bad guy, right?
He is a bad guy,
right? He's
Hulk,
part. Yeah. He's basically part of this too, and it's all in the queue. You'll learn all about it in the queue, which you've never done.
Oh no, I have not ridden this. I don't like roller coasters.
Yeah.
I love Hulk, but I do not like roller coasters. But I know the Hulk story. The General
Right.
Ross is basically the Hulk was an experiment.
It's basically that, yeah.
What you may not know is the Hulk. They were trying to replicate Captain America's super soldier serum, and it went awry, and he became the Hulk. So
They went to ride.
Mm-hmm. But to ride this, you have to be 54 inches tall. And again, like many of the roller coasters at Universal, it has inversions and is very intense. So you have to store your belongings in lockers,
Right.
so it does not fall out and hit people. Because that is actually a thing to think about on these. So they don't want anybody getting hit by below or on the ride with things.
Yep. And fun fact, the Hulk figure that stands at the entrance is just 13 feet tall. He's not that big, but he looks big, but he's not.
Wait,
that
you say that's not that big?
Well, I mean that's big, but like it's not big compared to like the roller coaster. I don't know.
It's big compared to a human. I mean, it's pretty tall. It is a cool figure though out there.
Also, a fun fact, as I've said before, we were able to come to Islands of Adventure a couple weeks before it officially opened in 1999, and this is one of the rides we got to ride. And we sat here.
When you say we, who are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I should clarify. I should clarify. My mom, my dad, and my sister and I. And I was 14. She was 11. And we were really into roller coasters back then. So we were super excited to ride it. It was a very long wait because it kept not breaking down, but just having to like stop and do things because it was still in testing. So it was a very long wait to get on it. And when we got on the actual coaster, we sat there for like 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was a lot of stop and go with everything that the day that we went. But that was the smoothest it's ever been and ever will be. So
yeah, I've heard it's not a very smooth roller coaster.
No. But it's very cool the way you go kind of through the water and like,
yeah,
not through the water, but you like go over the water and all the inversions and loops and stuff. So it's a very fun coaster. It's a little too rough on my head and my neck. So I can't really ride it anymore, but I remember liking it.
It's probably, would you say it's the most intense coaster at Universal?
Oh no, that's Velocicoaster.
Oh, well, okay.
Velocicoaster is the fastest but it's the smoothest. Hulk it's still fun. It's not the most intense. It's still really fun if you can handle all the head jiggling.
Okay.
Which I can't, unfortunately.
Head jiggling is a no-go for Jamie.
No. So, but yeah, that is the Incredible Hulk coaster.
Okay.
So let's move on to the next one, which is Storm Force Acceleratron.
Yes, this is one a lot of people don't know about.
It's tucked back there.
It's kind of tucked back here by the Hulk. So if you go past the Hulk, you'll see it back there. So this opened May 28th, 1999. And it is a teacups ride, but I liken it to a teacups ride on steroids a little bit.
Okay.
Is a way to kind of put this.
And Universal says, spin faster to summon Storm's power. The evil Magneto is plotting to take over the world. If Storm can harness enough thunder and lightning, she can blast him into oblivion. Board Professor Xavier's power generator and spin as fast as you can. The faster you go, the more thunder and lightning you'll create. The fate of the planet is literally in your hands.
So the way, first off, Jamie can't even touch this ride. This would make you,
No way.
I think if you sat down, it would instantly make you sick. So if you have motion sickness issues, this one I would say is a no-go. So what this is a mix of, it is teacups. Mm-hmm. So you spin, you have the little thing and you spin the wheel to make it go around and you can make it really fast. But also the other element to it is much like Alien Swirling Saucers in Hollywood Studios and the Mater ride over in Disneyland where it's that momentum. I don't know what kind of ride you call it, but it kind of goes around and swings you
Yeah, like centripetal force.
Centrifugal force.
Yeah.
So it has that element with it as well. So you have that part plus the spinning part. So
okay.
you can get going very, very fast, and you get I can tell you right now, I don't get motion sick. I never got motion sick on this, but you can get incredibly dizzy on this.
Sure. I mean, I've only watched you do it, so.
Well, it's like if with both kids I do it with, our son, he's not as much into like, going crazy spin, but it's just me and my daughter. She wants to spin like crazy. Mm-hmm. You need a minute when you get off here. Like it takes you a second because it's a lot of spinning. But
well, speaking of our children riding with you, there is no minimum height requirement, so anybody can ride it.
Yes. So when you're in this and it's going around, it has like thunder and like little flashes of light. So you hear
like it amps up the longer you get to the very
like
end.
it has a story to it, but it really doesn't need one if I'm being honest. But it does. But the plus about this is it hardly ever has anything longer than like a 10-minute wait.
Yeah.
It rarely does. Because again, most people go back there for the Hulk, and then you have to go past the Hulk to see this. And a little bit, especially after COVID reopening, it wasn't open for a while.
That's right.
It took a bit. So it's a lesser known one, but our kids love it.
I don't know if it's lesser known. It's just not as, I don't think, it's just not as popular.
Well, until we started going to Universal a lot, I actually didn't even know it was there.
Oh,
and we had probably been a handful of times.
I mean, personally, I just always forget about it because I can't write it. You know? So.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think, and it's not something that's really talked about. Everybody talks about the Hulk and, Spider-Man, which we will talk about.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next ride in this land. It's Dr. Doom's Fearfall.
Another one I have not done. I'm not a fan of heights, but this opened May 28th, 1999, and it is located on Yancey Street, or also known as Villains Alley. So this is, if you're walking, you will walk in, you'll see the Hulk to your left, you keep going down the road, you'll see Spider-Man ahead of you, and if you take a left into, it is an actual alley, you will see Dr. Doom's Fearfall back there. You are shot 185 feet up and then down, and then it bobbles up and down a little bit, kind of. So you've seen these types of rides before. It lasts 30 seconds, maybe.
Super short.
Yeah.
Super short. From Universal, they say faster than the space shuttle. Apparently, that is true. It shoots you faster up than the space shuttle. Okay. Dr. Doom is testing his latest invention, a machine that sucks fear out of people. His plan? Use the fear he collects as a weapon against the Fantastic Four. His henchmen will strap you into your seat, blast into the sky, and then, without a second to catch your breath, hurl you back down with a face-melting force stronger than gravity itself.
That sounds very intense. Dr. Doom, great villain. Fantastic villain.
You know more about this than I do.
Oh, he's an awesome
Doom.
villain.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of these types of rides. But
what's his name? Victor something?
Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom.
He's a good villain. I think he's probably the best villain in that Marvel has, if I'm being honest. But to ride this, you need to be 52 inches tall. And when you actually get done with this ride, it exits you through the arcade. So you can, there is an arcade in here that it's not just Marvel stuff in here, but it does have an arcade. So
we'll talk about that more in a minute. But, and something is kind of funny. It's like, it's on this Villains Alley. It's the only thing in this like side street.
There's nothing else back there. I need to go look there more. There might be some Easter eggs here and there, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, there's no other attractions back here. It's just Dr. Doom.
Yeah, that is true.
But there is some shade back there. So if it is a hot day and you're looking for maybe a little place to just kind of get out of the sun, it's not a bad place back there.
And I will say, like when you're at, I think when we were staying at Sapphire Falls, we were in one room and we could see like over to Islands of Adventure because it's not that far away. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Doom, you can see the towers from your room, like right next to Hulk. So like it's one of those things you can see from afar that are kind of I wouldn't say like iconic, but...
I wouldn't say
iconic.
No, I wouldn't say iconic. I mean, this is much more. It's a very much of a carnival type ride. You would see
kind of
nothing. I mean, if you think about it, teacups and this type of thing. The teacups has a little extra element to it, but you've seen these rides before, just not with this thing.
And you get more of the story in the queue, but it's not much. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's go to the last attraction of this land, and that's the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man.
This is my favorite one. This opened May 28th, 1999, and it is a 3D motion simulator. and it does last about 5 minutes. So you get a
Good amount of time.
Yeah.
From Universal, this says, blast into action with Spider-Man. Strap on your 3D glasses and join the world's most famous web slinger on a high-flying adventure. Villains have stolen the Statue of Liberty, and it's up to Spidey to save the day. Face a cast of Marvel characters as you soar above the streets, scale skyscrapers, and battle bad guys left and right. Just watch out for the 400-foot free fall.
It's never a good thing. Yes. So in this, there are quite a bit of some Easter eggs. So you do have Stan Lee makes 3 appearances in the ride. He's in the semi truck, and he's in the street by the theater marquee, and at the end he's there as well. So Stan Lee makes his little cameos in here quite a bit. In it, you'll see and hear J. Jonah Jameson, Doc Ock, Electro, Hydro Man, Hobgoblin, Scream, and there's somebody else I think as well, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Oh, I couldn't think of it. I thought that was it. Is there more?
That may be it. I'm running through the ride in my head. I think that maybe. Oh, you do see Sandman. No, wait, no, you don't. It's just Hydro Man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, you're right. That was right.
Okay.
Okay. To ride this, you need to be 40 inches tall. And so in this ride as well, the ride vehicles are called scoops. And they can rotate a full 360 degrees in about 2 seconds. So they can spin really quickly.
And lately, our son has been obsessed with watching POVs of this on YouTube. For whatever reason, he likes Spider-Man already, but he likes watching, especially the first part where Spider-Man's talking to you. So I've heard that over and over and over again.
Well,
lately.
He's ridden this like 4 times, 5 times. And he
Maybe
always
like twice. He's been chickening out lately, but I think he'll ride it next time.
Yeah. Anytime he rode it, he did fine. And then the last time we went to go ride it, he didn't want to. So I'm not really sure as to why. But yeah, it's a great ride.
It's so fun.
When I first went to Universal when I was in 8th grade, this was my favorite ride. I loved it. I still love it.
It's so good.
It's still a great ride. They've updated it to supposedly 4K.
So in
graphics.
2012, they did a complete, enhancement, and they redid it. That's when they added Stan Lee.
Yeah.
That's when they changed Spider-Man's look. Like his suit got a little bit more, sharper, and not as cartoony. It was more reflective of current stuff.
Well, the theming in the queue and everything, again, is really good as well. Like when you're going through the queue, it's like you're going through the newsroom.
The Daily Bugle.
Of the Bugle.
Yes.
So you see a lot of stuff there. So it definitely fits in. And they have the old cartoon playing that sets up the scene of what's going on. So it's definitely an animated version of it. So you're not you're not in a quote real world. You're in an animated version of the world.
Absolutely.
So that part I like a lot because I loved the Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh yeah.
So if you're a fan of that, it's good. I mean, a good thing as well. It can have some higher wait times depending on how busy the park is. This is the one in this area. You know, if you're there on a moderate day, 20 minutes or so, you can get in there. If it's a busy day, you're going to be over an hour for sure.
Middle of the day, like on a weekend, it'll creep up 45 minutes or
Which
higher.
is crazy because this is an over 20-year-old ride.
But it's so good.
It's a great ride.
And the reason it's so good is, one, because everybody loves Spider-Man.
Yes.
Spider-Man's very popular. But 2, it does a really good job of integrating 3D effects with physical effects. So the part, and I don't remember who it is that does it, that throw the fireball.
That would be Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin throws the fireball on screen, and then you have the physical effect in the actual ride. It comes out.
There's a couple there's a couple of scenes that do that with heat. There's Doc Ock has a scene that does that. They have water that'll spray you on Hydro Man.
Yeah.
Electro will shock the car and it'll shake the car. So it's got a lot of, you're right, 3D elements mixed with physical things in there. So
was this one of the first ones, or was this the first one that did this kind of thing?
I couldn't tell you for sure. I would assume so, given
1999.
This was in 99. So, and I remember at the time you went in 99.
Yeah.
I would have been like a year behind you. So we were there right after it opened. I remember I think I rode this ride 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's always been a big hit. It's always been really popular. So I don't remember specifics back then if it did all that stuff. I would assume it did, but I don't know.
All right. Well, we're not going to talk about just Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man.
Why not?
Although we could.
Why not?
So that's all the attractions in the land. So now we're going to move on to dining. So there are a couple of quick service places that you can eat at. There's character dining meal, but there's some stands. But first thing we're going to talk about is
there is interplanetary popcorn,
which
that you can get.
Can you guess what's there?
Going to take a wild guess that they have
Popcorn.
various types of popcorn. So they have regular popcorn, souvenir bucket popcorn. You can also get refilled here. They have pretzels, chips. You can get an icy hot dog, and then soda drinks. You can get the freestyle mugs refilled here as well.
I mean, you can go to that cotton candy stand that's like right next to it and pretty much get like the drink stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go, I don't know, you could probably go both places, but like, I want this and just go pick it up. I'm not sure if they still do that, but because it's like right next to each other. But that is one of the locations of the freestyle cups or freestyle machines.
And you'll find most places like that have that. Like right next to it's a cotton candy. Same deal. They got cotton candy there, but they serve basically all the same foods that the interplanetary popcorn does as well.
Yeah.
The main eating place in here would be the Cafe 4.
Yes, and according to Universal, they say superhero-sized appetite. Tell your hunger, it's clobbering time. Atop of the Baxter Building, the elite supergroup, the Fantastic Four, meets in their prominent headquarters and high-tech laboratory. And on the infamous building's ground floor, you'll find a convenient Italian eatery serving pizza, spaghetti and meatballs, fettuccine, meatball subs, and chicken Caesar salads. And this is where they do the Marvel character dinner. And it's a buffet. You can get one non-alcoholic beverage as well, and you get one digital download of a photo with a character. And this is priced at $52.99 per adult and $29.99 per child. We were actually talking about doing this sometime in the future because I think our kids would really enjoy seeing like Captain America. I don't know. I'm not sure if Spider-Man shows up. I think he does.
Totally just our kids. Totally
just our
kids
children. Just they're the only ones interested.
I in no way, shape, or form would enjoy any of that.
I would enjoy it too.
At all. I guess we should, just to be super clear on this, the Cafe 4 and the Marvel character dining are a separate thing. So like the Marvel character dining happens in Cafe 4, but Cafe 4 is like a quick service place. So that's the pricing there is just for that character dining. But I've actually never eaten in Cafe 4 that I remember. May have when I was younger. So we need to go in there and check some stuff out. But from what I've heard, it's this very basic quick service food.
Yes. So moving on to the other places you can eat.
So a lot of little things in here. So you got Auntie Anne's pretzels, which always fantastic. Delicious. They have a fruit stand and it has snack and drinks there. You'll find a lot of the stands have a lot of the same snack and drinks for the most part. Some have ices, but they'll all have soda, and most of them will have some beer. But the typical snack foods they'll have there. They have the Chill Ice Cream Shop, and this has ice cream cups and cones, floats, beverages, and things like that. And then they have lemon slush as well. And then the other dining or restaurant you can go into in here is the Captain America Diner. And in here, so there are some pretty good views of the park from this restaurant because it does have like a water.
Yes.
You can sit out there because there's a lagoon right up.
Which I want to eat here.
So I've been in here. We should eat in here. I've actually, weirdly enough, we were going through this, and we've never eaten in any of these. And especially, I feel like I need to eat at a Captain America diner because I feel like that should happen.
I believe I have eaten here when I was a kid. Like it's been a long time, so I don't remember. But I would love to check it out.
I do know though that you can see Thor throwing his hammer across the restaurant,
which is pretty cool. You can see the Mjolnir. You can see Mjolnir from the outside too. You can see it sticking out.
Yes,
I think that's pretty cute.
Yeah, so it's a really cool theme. I actually prefer this theming over the Fantastic Four one.
Which
it's not as big though. The Fantastic Four one's a little bit bigger.
Is that why the character dinner?
I'm sure it probably is, and it's got more space.
It would make more sense in Captain America Diner, but that's okay. We'll take what we can get, right?
I agree.
And sorry, just to go back to the character dinner, it just returned like back in February, so it has been gone for a couple of years. And we did the Grinch one at Christmas, so that's the only other Universal character dining we've done before. And we really want them to bring back the Minions breakfast. I think that was a Royal Pacific. I think.
Our son will freak out.
He would freak out.
Minions dining. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, so that's all the food because we're not going to really go like huge into the food because there's not really much else to say. So let's go into shopping and other activities.
So much room for activities.
So much room for activities.
Yeah. So in here, you have. So you got quite a bit, again, a lot of small stuff and some actual places you want to do. So there's a small kiosk on the way to the Hulk.
It's like shirts and
it's like the side stuff. Yeah, like little
drinks.
cups. And you see these all kind of all over Universal. Yeah. Just a small little thing there. Then, like we mentioned before, there's the Kingpin's Arcade.
Yes, and from Universal, they say, serious fun for super gamers. The Kingpin, a.k.a. the Brainwasher, a.k.a. Wilson Grant Fisk, may run the mob with an iron fist, but he can't keep you from beating his machines. Show the vile villain he's met his match by conquering his exciting arcade and video games, from high-speed driving simulations to enticing claw machines and classic favorites.
Yes, it's just an arcade. I guess I themed it, but it's just an arcade. There's nothing in there to me that I didn't even realize until I looked in the building not that long ago. I'm like, oh yeah, the Kingpin's up there, but there's nothing inside of it. It's an arcade.
They just named it.
We did that when our son didn't want to ride Spider-Man and it was raining. We went in here and played for a little bit. So you can get tickets and get little prizes in there, but it's just their typical arcade. But Dr. Doom's throne does sit in there.
Yeah, it does.
Which is pretty cool.
That's a little fun fact for you.
It is a little fun fact. There is also the Marvel Alternaverse store.
Good job.
This is the one that has Wolverine's claws out front.
It has somebody else up there too, but when I'm looking at the picture, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Probably a Storm or something, or not Storm. The girl, with her hair's white.
That would be Rogue.
Rogue. I think Rogue is up there.
I don't know why you just don't ask me these things. I can just tell
you. But I know Wolverine is like right when you can walk in like the corner.
You're basically walking under Wolverine's armpit.
Kinda, yeah.
It's kind of what you do there, which is cool because I love Wolverine. So
yeah,
it's fun.
And so what's cool about this store is like obviously they have like shirts and mugs and backpacks and everything, but you can actually meet Spider-Man in the back, and it's like there's a green screen photo op. And so they give you the photo, which you can buy separately, or if you have the My Universal photo package, you can use that too. But they actually put this on like a Marvel, looks like a comic issue for you, which I think is pretty cool. I want to say it's like $20 to buy it.
I can see that.
Not much it was. We talked about doing it. We're like, we'll wait for our kids.
The thing is, though, if you just give me the picture, I'm good enough with Photoshop. We could just do that ourselves. But you can't have them do it for you.
They wouldn't get to meet him.
Well, so you have to pay to do that, right?
Yeah, you can't just meet him and then. Well, you could do the photo op, but like you just can't buy the picture.
Right, but you could use your phone to take the picture.
See, that's the thing. You can, but like it's just green.
Right, that's how you do it.
Actually, I don't know if you can use your phone.
You may not be able to. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, they might put a kibosh on that.
We may have to try this out. I don't know the specifics on it because we haven't done it. I just know you can get your picture there with Spider-Man.
Yes, and yeah, I watched somebody do it, and it was cute. Little boy was cute.
And he's a good Spider-Man. It's a good costume and everything. Spider-Man. But yeah. We also have the Spider-Man exit, which is when you come out the Spider-Man ride. This is the shop.
This is big. It says shop.
Yeah.
On the outside of it.
5 and Dime, that's called. So in here is mostly Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
But they do have, a bunch of Marvel-themed toys and shirts and all sorts of things.
Lots of Spider-Man. We bought a Spider-Man plush there for our son. He couldn't not have it.
And he loves it. Mm-hmm. He does enjoy it.
He literally was playing with it today, so
yeah,
that's why I remember.
It's Spider-Man. Everyone likes Spider-Man. There's also the Amazing Pictures.
Which is like just a place where you just go to a photo backdrop and take pictures, and
you can get different backdrops to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been there for a little bit. So.
And then there's the aptly named Comic Book Shop,
which is is it the biggest one? Yeah, it's probably the biggest gift shop in the land, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, they've got the lounge flies and the shirts and the mugs and keychains, but they also have like collectibles. They have some very higher priced items in there.
I was going to say they actually have comic books in here.
And comic books.
So you go to the back and they have comic books. You can look. I mean, it's like walking to a comic shop. You can flip through them and see them and check them out. And
like posters and stuff.
And they actually, weirdly enough, and I don't know the whole thing between, Universal and Disney and all that, but they actually do sell some MCU stuff in this shop.
Yeah.
Because there's like they have some lifelike looking action figures of Chris Hemsworth and Thor and Iron Man, so that are from the movies. So
like Loki stuff was in there from the show, which I was
so
curious
there's
about.
a lot of cool stuff in here. If you're a fan of the comics, you could spend a lot of time in here.
And recently, there used to be a little shop next door to the comic book shop, and it was, I think it's changed so much. Like I remember one time it was Oakley. It was just an Oakley store. Well, it used to be called Marvel Boutique also, where it was just like women's apparel and Loungeflies. And then it closed and it became like a meet and greet area, which I don't know if you remember that. It used to be where you go in and take pictures.
Yeah.
Well, they closed that. And then so they just refigured it to be a part of comic book shop and knocked down that wall. So it's all one thing now.
Yes. You can walk
which is fine.
yeah.
Is fine. More shopping. Okay. That's fine.
But yeah, if you're looking for Marvel related anything, that's where I would say to go in there because they have tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously they have shirts and expensive things, but they even have like keychains and mugs and all sorts of things in there. So you've got the Spider-Man basic shop set up, and then you have this one that kind of has everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the other one is the meteor crash near the fruit stand.
Yeah. I didn't know this was a thing. I was looking through the whole land, just going like just here and there, just looking through it like on Google Earth. And I'm like, I think that's supposed to be a meteor.
Yeah, it is.
It has like the little pylons or whatever they are, like sticking up with the characters on it. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Okay. And apparently, because after I saw that, I did some research, and apparently, like the meteor has apparently had some kind of like powers, which is what changed this superhero island area into what it is.
It usually is a meteor that does that.
Yeah.
If I know anything about meteors.
The powers. Yeah. And I know we just mentioned that they don't do that meet and greet inside area, but other characters do meet outside occasionally. Occasionally you'll see like Dr. Doom, or you'll see Captain America, Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see, like Jimmy said, Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man. I think sometimes Rogue makes an appearance. I want to say in the past, but I don't know if that's a current thing.
Well, they used to come out and do that. Like, they come out in, like, motorcycles and cars.
They don't do that anymore.
I haven't seen them do it in a long time.
It's been a bit. I was going to say they used to do a midday little parade.
It wasn't even a parade. They just came out and started talking to people, and it was music.
But they would ride like four-wheelers.
Yeah.
I remember it was weird. You see Captain America on a four-wheeler. Then you'd see Wolverine on one. But
I don't know. I don't know if they still do that.
If they do, we've been there numerous times throughout the day and hasn't seen any of it. So if they do it, it must be at a specific time. I don't know.
Probably late morning. A couple times.
Yeah. So if they still do it, your best shot would be late morning, early afternoon, I would say. But the character we've met Captain America before. Got a picture with him. And I think Cyclops was there, and I'm trying to think who else. It does have a small rotation, but the main people want is Captain America, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. Those are the main ones that people want pictures with. If Dr. Doom's ever out there when I'm there, I want a picture because Dr. Doom's awesome.
Okay. And he's in purple, right?
No. He is green.
Oh, he's green.
Dr. Doom's all metal, and then he has the green cape.
Oh, okay. Well, who's in purple in the Fantastic Four? Who's purple?
In Fantastic Four?
Well, I'm thinking of somebody dressed in purple. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, Fantastic Four is Invisible Girl.
Wait, is Cyclops purple?
Cyclops in this land has he wears like a long trench coat.
That's what I'm thinking of.
That must be you're thinking of, yeah.
That's it.
It's not like his normal getup in the comics. It's like a long trench coat with his glasses that he has.
Got it. Okay.
I was like, I can't think of anybody in Fantastic Four what you're thinking, but yeah.
Sorry. One other thing that is not really anything to take note of, but between Captain America Diner and the ice cream shop, there's a little area that is like vacation planning.
Yes, they do have
It's like a little kiosk thing.
And there is Easter eggs. Like there's an Easter egg of Daredevil in this land.
Where is that?
It is over by the Captain America Diner, I think, but it says up there like you'll see Matthew Murdock, Law, and like different things.
No, isn't it on the Alternaverse shop? It's like right across from
could be.
Kingpin.
I can't remember exactly. Probably. I can't remember exactly where it is, but there is little Easter eggs here and there. There's Thor on one of the in this land you have giant cutouts of the characters, which I actually like.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like Wolverine, a giant Captain America, you got Thor, you got Iron Man, you got Rogue, Magneto. I'm trying to think of some of the other
There's
ones.
Osborn Laboratories.
Yes,
or something
that's
that
from Spider-Man.
it's in the window of the Villain Alley area.
Yeah,
That kind of stuff. All like notable things that you'd see in
yeah.
comics.
Oh, the other character you see sometimes is Storm. She's been out there before.
Yeah.
There's another character as well. So,
Yep.
there's you can find all sorts. If you know the comics well, you can see all sorts of little Easter eggs here and there that are in there.
So we have a few tips, and we can kind of expand on this if you want to, but we have some tips for navigating this land the most efficiently, in our opinion. So
Yes. Well, the first one would be Hulk and Spider-Man they will have the biggest lines in this land. So if you want to ride those, do them early.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would say
Depends
so.
on crowd level. But I mean, again, Spider-Man, if it's a really busy day, it's going to have lines. But if it's not a super busy day, this one lately doesn't have a terrible line. But I would still say do it early just in case. And then later in the day, if you want to ride it again, if it's low weight, then, go for it.
Yeah. There are a couple of phones, like telephones, around the land that say messages. Like if you pick up the phone and listen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know there's two. I know one is right by the cotton candy place, but I cannot remember for the life of me where the other one is. So, but it looks, it's just like a little pole, and it's very like.
I think it's out there by Spider-Man.
Is it by Spider-Man?
I'm pretty sure it's down there by Annie and
it's
Pretzels.
by the it's like right by the queue, like the outside queue.
Yeah.
Is it over there?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, so pick up the phone and listen.
You never know what you're going to hear.
I know.
Somebody giving you a new mission. You
That's
never know.
right.
And one other one. This was interesting, and I don't know if I've ever noticed this just without knowing this, but the buildings in the land are painted with a special kind of paint to change colors depending on how the sunlight hits it at certain angles. So it'll look a little different at like sunset, especially, or like midday or morning. So it can kind of look a little different. If you look at pictures, you can tell. It's not drastic, but you can tell.
Yeah, just a little subtletiness over there.
Yeah.
Do you have any other tips that you can think of?
Well, it's not huge. It's
It's a small land. It's very small.
They do have. There's a manhole cover, I guess you would say, that says Marvel Superhero Island on it when you're in there. I mean, there's not a ton of Easter. Again, this is built in like 99. So at that time, theming for lands is a little different now than it is current day. So a lot of this is, like Spider-Man is a great ride, still holds up. Obviously, Hulk is a popular ride. But a lot of these, the Teacups Type 1 and the Doctor Doom, they're basically just carnival rides with themes on them, sort of thing. So it's it's on a street. You go through there, so it's not a whole lot to it. You can walk through it. I mean, if you don't stop and you walk through this land, it would take you 2-3 minutes if you just straight walk through it.
Yeah,
it's
real fast.
It's not huge, but it is cool. Like I like where Spider-Man's exit. They make it sort of look like Metropolis or a city from the comics and things like that. I know Spider-Man's not Metropolis. I'm just using that as a thing, but he's New York and Brooklyn. But
Jared,
I'm gonna get yelled at about that one.
Get yelled at.
I was thinking Superman for some reason, but yeah. I mean, other than obviously rope dropping. If you want to go in here and do that, if you're a fan of the comics, the stores are really cool. They have a lot of cool stuff in there. You could spend a lot of time checking out stuff in there. And again, they do have some stuff from the MCU, so you never know what you might find in there if you want to, get some authentic MCU type stuff as well.
Yeah.
Anything you can think of?
I don't think so.
They do have that Fantastic Four car that's outside of the restaurant. It doesn't do anything really. It's a decent photo op for kids.
It needs to
or
be
adults.
It needs to be repainted.
There needs to be something else. You just sit there. I think you can push some buttons on it, but it doesn't really do anything.
Just
sit there and do that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we enjoy this land a lot. Obviously, we've been since we were kids, and it's held a lot of nostalgia for me. Just not even because of the superhero part, but just because I've been there so much as a kid. So
yeah,
I love it.
It's got bright colors, kind of like you think of in the comics in the 90s. But again, it's not like you could spend all day in this land. This is very much you write some stuff in here, a couple hours, you'd probably be pretty good. But again, if you're a fan of the 90s cartoons and the comics, I think you'll like this. And it's cool. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Well, that is all for our Deep Dive 101 Marvel Superhero Island talk.
Okay.
Unless you have anything else you want to mention?
I don't. I just want the shield. I
Okay.
want Captain America's shield. But do they? I bet they do. I haven't even checked. Maybe they do have a shield in there you could buy.
I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I bet they don't. I bet they don't want people walking around with a giant shield.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Just thought about that. But yeah.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for listening to our little spiel about this wonderful land. If you want to get any more content from us, we have other shows on the network. You can listen to the main Capture the Magic podcast on Thursdays with Jared and I. We talk all things Disney news, topics, etc. We've got Trip Tales once a month. That's my little trip report show I have. I'll be having another one out in a couple of weeks. We do Outside the Bubble once a month on Mondays. We haven't had one in a little bit just because we've done more focused on Disney and Universal, but we will have one coming up here soon. And we do have these shows on YouTube. So if you would like to just watch us talk about this stuff, you may do that on our YouTube channel, Capture the Magic.
Well, the video episodes are actually at CTM Podcast.
Oh, okay. This is a different change, right? Because you switched everything over to its own
Right.
channel.
So yeah, our video versions of the podcast on this one and all of our podcasts are at CTM Podcast on YouTube, and then the vlogs and sort of like edited informational videos are at Cap the Magic. So split those up so you get the two different channels there. Go subscribe to both, but they're split up.
Thank you for clarifying that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget to check out the social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook, we're Capture the Magic Community. And then we're Capture the Magic or Cap the Magic on other platforms.
We're at Cap the Magic everywhere except for TikTok. That's the only one that's
Okay.
Capture the Magic, which I think I'm going
There
to
you
change
go.
it to where they're just all Cap the Magic.
Okay.
So
There you go. All right. That's it, I think.
I've got nothing else.
All right. We're going to go to Volcano Bay the end of the week. So we'll chat about that in a couple of weeks because we love Volcano Bay. And so thank you everybody for listening or watching. And thank you, Jared.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. And as I always like to say, we will see you in the parks.
Bye.